Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Crafty Shenanigans and Brutus Monroe, or the other way around, probably. um, I usually go live on Friday nights, and I am thrown off just a little bit, but I do want to say welcome. I'm Shannon Smith. I am the design team director for Brutus Monroe, and we get together every weekend and do something fun. And this weekend we are playing with the Oz release. If you have not checked out this release yet, you definitely will want to. Darren will put some links up throughout the night of some of the things. Hello, Beverly. Hello, Candy. Hello, Kelly. So we are going to play with some of the items from the Oz collection. Well, hello, Anne Marie. So what we are going to use tonight for the card that we are creating, we are going to use the Over the Rainbow paper collection, and we are going to use the Yellow Brick Road glitter paper. This is the paper that we're going to use, this kind of faux glitter. It's really cool. I really like it. We are also going to use the There's No Place Like Home stamps, and these are actually the stamp set that is featured in the inspiration box this month. So look at this. I hope you can see it, because now that I've stamped on it, I probably didn't line it up exact, but you've got the cute Tin Man, the cute lion. You've got, I love the Scarecrow. You've got Dorothy and Toto. You've got the whole gang. And there are so many other things in this collection. I don't want to go over all of them. If you want to see all of them, there have been videos up earlier this week where we've kind of gone through all of the things in the collection. But this is what we're using tonight. And we're going to start off with our sentiment, which is funny for me because I typically, that's like the last thing on my mind, but we are going to do something kind of fun. So we are going to use the I Admire Your Courage stamp. And I just jumped right in. I didn't even wait for anybody. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Ruby. Hello, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm so excited that you're all here with me. Okay, I already have used my little magic powder bag, but I'll just show you again. And we are going to go ahead and use our clear embossing ink. This is a great ink. If you need an embossing ink, let me tell you, even if you don't need one, you need this one if you don't already have it. Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp that. I'm just using my little mini Misty. And just kind of want to get that on there. I usually will do it twice, and it's okay. I probably had a little bit of black still left on my stamp, but that's okay. It'll make it easy to see where to go from here. I actually have two stamp pads because I'm terrible about that I use for my embossing, because I like one to be pretty, but I just messed up the pretty one, so I might have to get another one. Okay, so let's take that out. Hi, Laurie. Isn't this a cute stamp set? I love this whole release. I am telling you what, I'm having a blast with it. Okay, and now I'm just going to use some gilded embossing powder. And if you wanted to, there is an embossing powder that released with this that has some sparkle to it, but we'll be using a lot of sparkle in the rest of the cards, so I thought it might compete. So I didn't use it for this, but the one that released, oh, there's not a gold one anyway, but there's a pack of 4 embossing powders that are definitely pretty. There's a red, there's one that's called Wicked. It's got like greens and kind of cool, mysterious looking colors in it. And then there is, well, I'll just show you. It's probably faster. There's one that's got silver in it. This one's called Tin Man, appropriately. And then there's one, here's Wicked, the one I was telling you about. It's a really nice, cool, dark. And then we've got, this one's Emerald City, and it's got gold and green in it. And then we've got Ruby Slipper, which is really pretty. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of brush this off. And I'm not too worried if I have a couple of strays, because we're going to really give this like kind of a metallic shine when we're done. So for now, we'll call that good. Empty my tray really quick. Maybe, I'll do it after. But I'll just put it somewhere safe. Doesn't that sound like a famous last word? It sounds like a famous last word I've probably said before. Okay, so now let's go ahead and heat that up. There we go. You can see it starting to change. I always love that magical moment. All right. So I have to tell you something kind of funny because the Oz release has been so much fun this whole week. But we've lived in Lubbock for a couple of years now. And the last couple of days were the first time that I noticed we're on a tornado watch. And I thought, oh, that's kind of ironic. So we don't have a tornado warning, just a watch right now. So hi, Teresa. Welcome. Thank you, Candy. Hi, Laurie. Oh, we did. Oh, the sentiments. Yes. The sentiments are really fun in this one. And I really like this one. This one's one I wished I had that for several people I've sent cards to, just because there's a lot of things that just happen and we all just need to encourage each other. And sometimes it's amazing what people can get through and do so very gracefully. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, and this I should tell you, this is a Spellbinders die. It's actually a really old one, but I know that they've made new ones of this since then. So I think Darren found one on the site that's pretty close to it. So that's what I did for this. And then I don't even know what brand this is, to be honest with you, but I had just a little scallopy square that we're going to use. And we're going to make our little lion's medal. So okay, Darren's keeping an eye on me, making sure that I'm keeping things where they go. So I'm getting out my ugly bucket so that we can kind of have some fun in here. And this is where all of the really fun stuff is going to happen tonight. So I am going to use a ton of things right now. And that's, this is our little lab experimenting, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I should show you first. So I take my, I will sometimes take my aqua pigments, especially if they're the bigger jars, and I will just replace the lid just because I spray mine more than I drop mine. So I just replace the little nozzle, and I'm just going to go ahead and spritz my papers. And the paper that I used, the cardstock, is Not Your Mama's. And that, if Darren can find that, because I forgot to tell him, that is a good one for stuff like this because it's such a nice thick paper that it can take a lot of liquid. So you can have a lot of fun. Oh, Teresa, I'm glad you found us. Okay, this one's brass. So we're going to put a little brass on there. And then I'm using all of the metallics. I'm using a little bit of copper. If I can get my sprayer to work. I'm running low on it. That's the problem. That was way more than I meant to use, but that's okay. And then a little bit of my sterling. There's also a Tin Man one you can use, but I just have this nozzle on here, so I thought, I'll just go with that for now. And so right now it's looking like a mess, but it will look cool when we're done, I promise. And then now I'm using the wrong thing. I grabbed my stamp cleaner, which is kind of hilarious because it's in the same bottle of Chroma Mist, but that's okay because it's just some more. So it'll smell good too. So, oh, I love it when something like that happens when I'm live. Okay, this is Ornament Gold, and this is one of our Chroma Mists, and I'm just using it to kind of spread all of those colors around. Hello, Belle, how are you doing? Welcome, I'm so glad to see you. This is an old Chroma Mist, so don't hate me because this is not something that was a limited edition, but I really like it because it's gray and it the color saturates in a little bit deeper. So I wanted to give it just a little more depth. So I did add that. So don't look for that on the site because you won't be able to find it. But if you have it in your stash, then you can consider yourself fortunate. Okay, so now I'm just kind of absorbing up some of our excess. And honestly, there's a lot of excess. I didn't need near that much, but that's okay. So I'm just going to take a paper towel and just really dab up the better part of this. Did I do it? I think, no, I did it right. Okay, for a minute I thought it was backwards. That wouldn't even make sense, but you know, a little panic set in. Okay, so let's take these guys out. I purchased a stencil and a stick mat. I figured after Christopher's live to go ahead and get the mat. You will not regret that, Amy. And welcome, by the way. That stick and stamp mat, I have a whole stack of them because I love them, and I use and abuse mine like crazy. You'll see that it's kind of hard to see the sentiment. So what we're going to do is I left my stamp on my Misty on purpose.
Lori said she could use that sentiment over last month. She got released from the hospital after a bone marrow transplant due to leukemia.
Oh my gosh, Larry. I guess you could use that. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope that you are doing well. And oh my goodness. You know what? Laurie, will you please, if you are friends with me on Facebook, and if you're not, unfriend me, but will you please send me a private message and I will send you this card. Okay? All right. So what I decided to do, the mat, you know, it depends on how you care for the mat, honestly. When I said I use and abuse mine, I mean it. I'm not super careful with mine, but there's a whole video on the Brutus Monroe channel that you can look up that tells you how to properly care for it. And if you use the steps in that, then you should be able to get a lot of uses out of your mat before you need a new one. Hi, Lori, how are you? Okay, so I went ahead, I just lined it back up. That's one of the great things about having a Misty. And I have left this wet. I haven't dried it off yet. So there's a little bit of moisture. Well, there's quite a bit of moisture in my paper still. And that's okay. Because I kind of want the ink to run a little bit. Because what we're going to do is add a little bit of depth to our sentiment. And I might have to stamp it a couple of times to get it to be dark enough. And you may actually, if you've got a lot of metallic on your stamp, you may need to clean it in between. Mine wasn't too bad, but I thought about it after I did it. So took that bullet for you. Oh, yes. I like that Chroma Mist too, Betsy. It's a good one, isn't it? Yes, Lori, I think getting to do some crafting is definitely therapeutic, definitely helpful. Okay, so I am going to do this one more time, but this time I have a lot more metallic on my stamp, so I want to wipe that off. And just so you know, I just about grabbed my stamp, my Chroma Mist that time, getting them mixed up. I definitely move those in a minute so I don't ever mix them up. Okay, so now let's put some more of our black on there. I think this one might have been re-inked more recently, so I'm going to try this one just because I want like I said, to get a lot of depth in there. Okay. I'm glad you're getting a lot of well wishes. Okay, so can you see how it's definitely bringing that out? Then just I'm going to go one more step further. And now we're going to go ahead and hit both of these pieces of cardstock with our heat tool. And I kind of like that the embossing powder kind of like it brings the embossing powder up to the top, which works great because we want it to be more metallic anyway, but the black is just enough to give us the depth that we need to be able to see the sentiment. And honestly, I don't know how long this will take to dry, and I don't really want to spend all of our time together waiting for it to dry. So what I did was I created one earlier, but you can see all you need to do is, and I love how shiny it gets as it dries. It was already, but it gets even shinier as it dries more and more. So I'm just going to let that dry. If it's dry before I need it, then we'll use these ones. But if not, I've got a backup. I kind of like this one better than the one I made earlier. So hopefully that extra copper, I kind of like what it did. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick wipe down on my mat just so that I can make sure I'm not going to lay any of our papers and any of the stuff we've used so far. Okay, yay. All right, so now the next thing we'll do, I actually need to dry it a little bit too. There we go. Now we're ready for some more fun.
Mackie says hi.
Hi, Ellen. Hi, Mackie. How are you guys doing?
I did that.
Oh, I used a lot of aqua pigment and I used some chroma mist. But yeah, if you go back and see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was simple. Okay, so I'm going to next, let's color our Cowardly Lion. I just love this little guy. And that, he, I think, was one of my favorite characters growing up in the Wizard of Oz. I loved most of the characters, but I was terrified of the witch. I liked her, but I was scared of her. And I may have told you this before, but when I was in junior high, my claim to fame, my moment of shining in the sun was that our school did The Wiz, and I was the Wicked Witch, and I had so much fun. Okay, let me see which one I used. I can't remember which one I did. So I got to do a little swatch test because I can't remember which one I ended up with. So this one is the Gold Yellow Blend of the Tri-Blend Spectrum Nord. And this one is the Gold Brown Blend, which I think I used the other one. Okay. All right, and we'll use a little bit of the tan. So we are going to go ahead and color our lion with the lightest color first. And I'm kind of just avoiding the black for now, just so I don't smear it into it and get a bunch of gray. I get pretty close to it, but the color kind of moves a little bit on you anyway, so I'm not fussy about getting it all the way to the edges. Not yet. And we're just going to do kind of a quick color job here.
Maggie says you can't believe in Wicked Witch. You're too sweet.
Oh, Mackie, you are very kind. It was a lot of fun. And my my proudest thing about it that my parents just made me feel so good about was they were really proud because our school had a really terrible sound system. So the whole night the mics kept going out, and my when I had to sing my solo, I just sang out really loud, and my parents were just proud that that people could hear me, and so I never forgot that because my parents were so pleased that I did that, and it made me feel so good. And my dad, both of my parents have passed now, but my dad was so proud of that whole thing, and I just remember being terrified to try out. I mean, I was so scared to try out for that play, and I almost didn't. But my dad rehearsed my lines with me, and there was one part where he told me to use my voice. He's like, "You should do it like in a more mocking voice." So I followed his advice, and when I got it, I was like, "See, it's because of you." And it was just a really sweet memory for me. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I put myself out there at that age because it really is one of my fondest memories from school, anyway. So now I'm just going through, this is the mid color, and I'm just going through and just kind of adding a little bit of contrast in there. We're going to do some shading. And then we're just going to add a little bit of the darkest tone. Plays are fun, aren't they? They are fun. I think every kid should be in a play, from the chorus to a main role. It's just there's a special thing about it. You didn't like The Witch either? You know what? The flying monkeys were scary. I think they were scarier than The Witch. I agree with you on that. They still freak me out a little bit. But now I watched The Witch, and I'm like, oh, she had so much fun doing that role. You can just tell. And she just really made that so awesome. That is awesome. I love it. I have to admit, I did not read the books. Did you guys read the books? Oh, thanks, Kelly. Your kindergarten teacher? Oh my gosh, that's so funny, Betsy. I hope that you were not terrified to go to kindergarten when you saw her. Poor lady. What a terrible thing to have follow you, huh? Okay, so now we're going to go through again. We're going to use the lightest tone and kind of blend all that out.
Okay.
Mostly I'm just trying to soften that line. I don't know if I hit this one with the middle color. Definitely needs some of it. So I'm just going to go through with that middle color again, just to kind of bridge the gap between the two. And I don't know what it is with my dogs. I swear they know when I'm live. They act up every time lately. So hello from the Smith dogs. All three of them are in here playing.
Sassy.
We have a whole house they could be in, but you know. Okay. So now let's do a little bit more on the man. Tri blends are awesome. I like them too, Ellen. You read the first two? That is awesome. I need to go back. Sometimes I think it's more fun to read the books later. I think we appreciate them a different way. Hi, Tina. The Cowardly Lion has a lot of character in the movie. I think the artist did really. I believe Chuck did these, and yeah, I think he did capture a lot of personality in this little guy. I almost expect him to sing. Benji?
Ben.
I think they're going to have to get kicked out of my room. So now I'm just kind of going through lightly and just kind of adding a little bit of texture to his mane. And I think we're good on that. I don't think we need a whole lot on there. And now I'm just going to take Colorista markers are a nice alcohol blend marker too. And these are very inexpensive. And there's several sets that we've had at Brutus Monroe. This one, I have to be honest, I guessed which set it's in, but it's called Poppy. And we're going to use this on his little, the ribbon that holds his medal. And we'll do a little bit on the center of his medal. And let's use some jade. This is jade blend, jade green blend if we want to get really technical. And let's try the middle shade. I'm not going to worry about trying to do any blends because spaces are so little. Let's see. Let's do that. Actually, let's do the courage on the badge in this color too, and then let's use the darker kind of in the little spaces. Okay, and now I'll just use, let's use tan. We'll use tan. I don't know if tan's going to be a good color. Let's see. Let's try the, what was the other one? The other was gold blend, the gold brown. Let's try the middle color there for our medal, just so it's a little bit different than our lion. Okay. And now I'm going to use a little bit of, I think I might actually use a little bit of the tan to just kind of go over, add a little bit more contrast. Yeah, he just needs a little bit more. Not a whole lot, but I think he needs a little bit more. Make him a little more brown and a little less yellow. Let's put a little bit under his nose. Okay, that I think will work. A pop of red, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, and with his medal, I just figured he needed some kind of royal kind of colors. So we did some kind of jewel tony kind of colors. Okay, so now let's find our die for this. And I love how our coordinating dies fit so nicely onto our stamps. And let's see. I actually have one that's already cut out. Let's just use this guy. And move on to the next step. Looks like I made his mane a little bit darker, but that's okay. They're close enough. All right. Let's see how our metal is drying. Yeah, they're still pretty wet. So let's see. We're going to grab these. Now, I'm not going to do this live, but all I did was I took the little metal that's in the stamp set and just went back and forth. And you're not going to see a whole lot of this, but I just wanted a little bit of here because it's going to tie into another thing that we're doing. Okay, look at this glitter stock. Isn't this pretty? So pretty. That's right, Penny. Hello, Penny. How are you? I'm not sure who the Facebook user is that said 2 of your favorite people, but hello. It didn't tell me your name. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get our paper glued on. And I'm going to be pretty generous with my glue because we are using the glitter stock. So I want to make sure it's going to stick to all of that texture. So the glitter stock, there were 3 packs that released with this release. There's the Emerald City, the Ruby, and the Yellow Brick Road. And I'm telling you what, they are perfect. They're already sized to the 6x6 size. I cut mine down a little bit. So I cut this one down to 5.5 and this one down to 5 3/4 because I like a matte. I really do. I just like the way a matte looks on a card. And so I always just leave a little bit of a border so that I can have all of those layers show up. So let's go ahead and stick that to our card. Thank you, Lori. The fans of Brutus Monroe YouTube, Facebook group, and the Brutus Monroe fan page are not showing names through Restream today. Okay, good to know. Well, thank you for being here. And if you feel like identifying yourself, you can. All right. I just want to scroll down because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, you know what, Penny? It's okay to be late. I'm just glad you're here. Hi, Jesse. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you identified yourself, too. I was hoping that you would. I scrolled down just to make sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our card panel attached to our card. Okay. You can see my experiment. I tried red first, but I liked the black better. And now you know. I just didn't see any sense in wasting it. Okay, so what I got to do now, kind of need to line this up. Let's put it down about right here. I got to move myself up a bit. Go. Is that what you said, Darren? Okay, so I've got it down kind of low, hopefully not too low. Might be a little low. Let's move it up a little bit on our paper. Because what I'm going to do, I just had, I used this die too. Again, I don't know who's made that. I'm sorry. I don't have it labeled in my stamp. I mean, in my die storage, but I just liked the little tag so that we can make it be the ribbon that's award. So the little medal. So we're going to cut this down a little bit. I'm thinking maybe we'll take about an inch off, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's see how that works. I think an inch is good. Let's see how everything else lines up. So I just took my Circle Foundation dies and the Emerald City glitter paper because I wanted to make just a little something frame off our sentiment. Just want to kind of replacing that. I think that will work. Okay, so let's get, oh, we already glued that. Let's get this guy glued down. And I will quickly make sure it's still in the right spot before the glue dries. Move it over just a little. I think that will work. Okay, so now let's glue our circle on. Let me move some stuff over so I can move where you can see me. And this is Barely Art glue. If you are not familiar with this, this is great glue. I love the way that it's got this little skinny tip that you can use, and I like the speed at which this glue dries. It gives you a little bit of leeway, but it doesn't take forever to dry. Okay. So let's go ahead, and I kind of want that to show. I like that drip that we did. Oh, I don't think I showed you that. So what I did do is I, sorry, the dogs are back. I flicked some of the brass on after so that I would get some little spots just to make it look a little bit more aged. So that I'd use the brass aqua pigment to do that. Okay, let me grab a foam square, maybe a couple. She's okay. Oh, she has something in her mouth.
She ate something.
Take her in the other room. Sassy loves this room because there's just too many things in here that she can play with. So we have a game. She goes in the closet. I have this, I hope I didn't already tell you guys this, but anyway, I have this, this thing that was my grandma's for her sewing room, and it holds all of the thread. And I had it on the floor, just leaning up because I don't really use it that often because I don't really sew. But she has this game where she goes in the closet and she grabs a spool of thread and she just waits for me to take it from her. And she thinks she is so clever. And so I just play along with her because it makes her so happy. Oh, thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, you guys are so good to me. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the weekend. I know there's a lot of fun ones, huh? I know we are all having so much fun with this release. There's just so much that you can do with it. I feel like I still have only barely scratched the surface. All right, we are going to get our award on here. What did you find now, huh? Sass? Ben?
Ben?
Have him take her to his room. Okay, so now we've got our, ooh, I've got that a little high. Let's put it a little tiny bit lower. We'll go down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now we can put our little lion over here. And we're going to need some foam for him. I think we'll put him maybe, I want him a little bit over the middle. I think right there is about right. And now we just need a little something, something. So what we're going to use is, let's grab, these are, man, they're called Heart Seeker. And it's got all of these pretty silver sequins, but it's got these cute little red ones too. And we're going to take some of the red ones out because I think we need to just add a little bit more of the red touches. Like Candy was saying, it all ties in so nice with the ruby slippers. Go make them a little closer. Maybe we'll do 3 and 2. Might have to get my jewel picker out. One more. Yay. Yep, I think that will work. Okay. So I'm just going to, again, use some of my Fairly Art glue. And I will grab my jewel picker if I can find it. It's probably already out on my table somewhere. Well, it's a good thing I have. Oh, there it is. It's right where it goes. That's why I can't find it. Okay. Whoops, wrong side. Get those on there. Uh-oh, did you lose a stamp, Candy? I've got to go back and see what all of this is about. Toto, the little tiny one? I can see why, because he's just so cute and little. I'm glad you found him. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to decide if there's anything more I need on this card. Sometimes you just have to look at it for a minute. I think with all of the texture in the background and all of the shiny, I think that we've probably done what we need to do. We could put a bow right here. Should we do that? You know how I hate ribbon. Let's put a little bow, maybe a little red bow. And then I think we'll call it good after that. Hang on one sec. See if I have any ribbon handy. Oh, and if I cannot dump out stuff when I'm looking for it. Thankfully, you don't see the mess I just made. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this ribbon matches. Yep, I think we did well. Okay, so let's just add a little piece of ribbon. I think the scale is good for this too, because I think we want to keep it kind of small. Yep, that's what it needed. I think it needed that last little bit. Oh, thanks, Anne-Marie.
I'm not sure who it is because Rishi's not showing the name, but they want this for their wall.
It might be Jessie. I think Jessie wants it for her wall. I already promised it to Laurie, though. So maybe I can make another one now. Let's see. Let's do... I'm trying to decide the best adhesive for this. Let's go with a glue dot. I think glue dots and fibers work very well together. So we'll just glue dot that on. All right. So we have our Cowardly Lion card, and now we can send this off and wish Larry well. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope that you are feeling much better. Thank you so much, Tina. All right, you guys, I didn't expect to finish early, but it looks like I did. So thank you for joining me, and stay tuned. We're all having so much fun with this release. You never know when a live could pop up. Thank you so much, Betsy. And thanks for being here. It was nice to have you here. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you, Candy. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are so kind. Oh, thank you, Brandon. Oh, hello. I didn't even see you come in. And hello, Lori. You guys are so kind. Thank you so much. It was so much fun to make him. All right. Well, I will let you go. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I hope you'll join me next week, and I'll have something else new. Thanks again. Bye.